We're back in Zeerust to pick up on the action from round number 2 of the Africa Off-Road Championship Racing Series, brought to you by N1 4x4, your Toyota and Land Cruiser 4-wheel drive specialists, along with Pirelli. Johnny Walker and Dwayne McGregor, one of the early teams to reach the big mud box and just tippy-toe their way through. Completely different approach for Velman as he just smashes his way into it. Johan Besson, remember, no windscreen on these single-seater open vehicles, so that visor is going to be absolutely roosted. Wolf Peter Fumfai, our first wheel out, been overtaken by a couple of cars now sits third, but tippy-toeing through the mud in an open vehicle like that, probably the best call. Croshaw, absolutely covered there as they splash their way through. Tion Prinsloo and Dion de Kock, and the side-by-side of Petersen and De Beer, they would be the winners in Class G, but they were really starting to make their way up in the overalls. Weichel and Erasmus in the N1 4x4 vehicle were doing a great job as well. And Julio and Hilario were figuring out how to be partners out on the track, as they also got closed down by Esterhazen. Rickers Prinsloo and Dylan de Kock. Now this pairing, and I know particularly Rickers, does love racing in the mud, so he'll just be enjoying it, completely having a jaw. Weichel and Erasmus in the D44. They'd be looking to climb their way up there, and were definitely on for a top 2 placing in the production Class Ds. They had a huge pit setup going on down in the pit village on the landing strip, and after a little bit of splash and dash and some repair work on the vehicle, they were back out there on track. Remember, these guys were on for a predicted 5 laps of racing today. Rock solid setup from the guys from N1 4x4, and hopefully they were just having an absolute jaw in their cruiser. Billy Feldman and Cornelius Niemann, they came in the F2 vehicle. They were the only F vehicle entered, but they'd be looking to see what they could do in the overalls with no one else to play with. Out there onto the next lap and around the side of the dam. One of our spectators almost getting involved in the race just for a second. Huge spectator value around the side of the dam as well, so that's where everyone was hanging out and lighting the braais. Jaco Esterhazen, he'd had a terrible run of luck at the end of last season, beginning of this season, but this time around, he was absolutely flying and would eventually climb himself up into 3rd place overall. Julio and Hilario in the P1, they were still finding out what they could do, but also on for a top 3 placing in their Class P category. Freddie O'Brien and Johan Retief just following the markers and unfortunately not having that full steering lock that a lot of production vehicles do. But still, they would get themselves into a position to try and maintain their finish inside of the top 10. Rickers Prinsloo and Dylan de Kirk had set their car up predominantly for the mud, so when it got into the loose stuff, the car was very, very soft in the running, and they were battling to keep traction and forward momentum going. Nonetheless, the P30 was on for a win in the Class Ps. Very strong drive coming out of Prinsloo and de Kock. And exciting as well. Everyone said that was one of the most spectacular drivers out on course. Monis Dupree and Francois Bennett had made friends out there on the track in the Colt and were doing a nice job to try and walk away with the Class D win. Weichelt and Erasmus in the D44 were chasing them down, but would have to settle for a 2nd place finish, on average running around about 10 to 12 minutes slower per lap in the Class D, according to their competition. Into the pits, everyone had their story to tell. Thorns and rocks were starting to come into play as the track started to chew itself up. The Ferreiras were first to get bitten. Kubis and Marinda Ferry in the P44 were now on a charge and had got themselves up into 2nd place, getting around the slowing Ferreira with their flat tyre. Nishal Bonner in the B20 on just outside of the podium on a predicted 4th place finish. Fourth place is where he stayed. The one and only side-by-side, that of Nalda Petersen and Marley de Beer in the G97. They did a good run of it as well, and their lap time showed they were really on point. They didn't make it out for 5 laps of racing. 4 laps was enough, though, to obviously give them the category win with no one else to play with. Johnny Walker and Dwayne McGregor, they'd done a great drive this time around. They weren't going to be able to beat out the flying Wolf Peter Fumfai, but it was going to be a strong 2nd place drive and not too far off the experienced Fumfai's pace. coming into the closing stages, the story was all about everyone bringing it home. The last lap was really a charge and a sprint. Prince Lou came home to bag his win in the Class Bs alongside Dylan de Klerk. But Wolf-Peter van Fay, the giant killer from round number 1, incredibly did it all over again and walked away with a Class B win over some tasty drivers. In the end, it was van Fay beating out on Johnny Walker and McGregor. And the time gap come the end of play after 5 laps of racing, nearly half an hour. Experience does count for something. Monis Dupria and Francois Bennett made it home as well. They got their class win in the Class Ds. And once again, the Mitsubishi Colt, this time Flip, had to watch from the sidelines as everyone else was having the fun. Billy Feldman and Cornelius Niemann walked away with the F category win. And confirmation of Johnny Walker coming home in the 2 spot for the Bs. Here's the breakdown then. Wolf-Peter van Fay walks away with the win ahead of Walker and McGregor, and Jaco and Hendrik Esterhuizen in the extremely tight battle for Class B honours. Class C was all about Carleen Croshaw and Sifi van Skalkwijk, and in Class P's, Rickers Prinsloo and Dylan de Klerk did the big job, getting one over on Kurbis and Marinda Ferri, with Julio and Hilario getting 3rd place. Class D was all about Monis Dupria and Francois Bennett. Much better day at the office for those guys. Class F, Feldman and Niemann, and Class G, Petersen and De Beer. And after an incredible round number 2 of championship racing action down here at Zeerust, the faces in the pits looked decidedly different than they did in the morning.
Hi guys, it was a fantastic route. It was difficult, tough, hard on the shoulders. We had a little bit of overheating problems. Our fans quit. A little bit of wiring issues, but we managed to keep it together with a couple of bottles of water. Great, thanks Flip, it was awesome.
Oh hell, what a fantastic day here at Wimsa today. Like we did 5 laps of about 35 k's, went very well. We absolutely had no problems along the way. Quite rough, quite a bit of mud along the way, quite slippy, but thoroughly enjoyed it.
Naldo Petersen and Marley De Beer got their first category win of the 2018 season out of the way, and they brought it home nice and clean.
Okay, yeah, I just want to thank Flip and Bertha for a very nice race, very well marked, lots of tights. It was really a good race.
Oh, it was a hell of a nice race, tight, tough, but very nice. Marking was excellent. And I'd like to thank my girlfriend for the last 40 years that I still can go racing. Thanks very much.
Hello, I'm Marnus Dupria. This is my co-pilot, Francois Bennett, joining me for the first time. Yeah, it's my first race that I finished, and yeah, had an awesome experience. Thank you.
Hello, Johnny Walker here from Rustenburg. Bushwalker Racing. With me is Dwayne McGregor. We had a great race, a great, tough, technical, tight route. Lots of rocks, tight turns, but it was well marked. We enjoyed it very much. We had some trouble with the car. A couple of times came to a standstill with the fuel filter problems, but we got it going again and finally we finished.
Thank you very much for Africa Off-Road Racing for this very nice race on Zeerust again. A bit very technical. We had a bit of problems on the route, but it was quite nice. And a very thanks to my navigator Cornelius. Spot on again as the previous race. We went good. We struggled a bit, but everything went nice.
Yeah, it was a good day. Good to be back after 5 years of not racing. The diesel went very well, so we're very happy about that. Had a few overheating issues. It's great to be part of something like this again, where Pirelli and ourselves have tried to make it a little bit better this year. And yeah, looking forward to a season with the African Off-Road and Pirelli series. So we'll see you guys at the next one.
And the next event on the calendar is the 17th of March at Corlini from N1 4x4 in association with Pirelli. We'll see you there.